right.
Okay, we ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to call to order this special meeting of the Board of Equalization. It's Wednesday, April 24th, 2024. It is 9:30 a.m. Mr. Town is out on medical, but we have a quorum of 2. Ms. Sellers
Present.
and I'm Ms. Thompson. We're ready to go. We have 15 items on the agenda, and I think they're all with Mr. Hayes. So we'll get him on the phone. Okay, 3.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Hayes. How are you?
Well, I would like to ask a small favor. My day didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. I had a doctor's appointment this morning for my computer thinking they had Wi-Fi, but they don't allow public access to their Wi-Fi. Is it possible? I was trying to find Starbucks, but I don't want to go on our network with Starbucks. Is it possible I can get takes me about 25 to 30 minutes to get home? Is that possible? We can meet at 10.
Well, actually, we can't because we give public notice of the meetings, and we have to. So what?
I had a doctor's appointment. I couldn't miss. I mean, it ran a little bit.
I get that. So do you? What is it now? But you have your information in front of you, right?
Well, I have my notes, but I wanted to be able to use my computer. I like to use my computer, so that's the problem. Plus we're not on the same. The numbers that they give me don't be in order, so I know it's going to be a little chaotic.
I think we'll make it. We'll manage. We'll have some pity on you getting to. Are you able to look at your notes and tell us which ones you already agreed on?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that.
So start off with R208061380. That's good.
Wait a minute, 1380. Okay, that's item 5 on the agenda. Okay, BOE number 247-3420. Northwest 176, R208061380. Okay, so the assessor is asking for a valuation setting of $271,000, and you agree with that, Mr. Hayes, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion on BOE 247, item number 5 on the agenda to set the fair market value at $271,000 by agreement of the parties.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Aye. Next one.
R0741571135.
7135, that's 250. Item 8.
Okay. 1601 Reading Drive, R0741571135. The assessor is asking for a valuation of $93,000, and you're agreeing to that, correct, Mr. Hayes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion on BOE 250, item number 8 on the agenda to set the fair market value at $93,000 by agreement of the parties.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Is there another?
And then 1810 R212261810.
810.
What was the last
Okay,
four?
that's item 14 on the agenda.
1810.
Right. The BOE number 256, 904 Northwest 186, R2126-1810. The assessor is asking for $480,500, and you agree to that, Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion on BOE 256, item number 14 on the agenda to set the fair market value at $480,500 by agreement of the parties.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Is that it?
1330.
All right, that's item 15 on the agenda. BOE number 257-3124, Northwest 184th, R212331330. The assessor is requesting $381,000, and you agree with that, Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
I make a motion on BOE 257 to set the fair market value at $381,000 by agreement of the parties.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 1, 2,
Are there any others?
3.
1310.
Sometimes he's out of order.
Oh,
Number 6.
okay, item 6 on the agenda.
248.
BOE number 248-19220, Garden Creek Lane, R208-861310. What is the assessor asking on this one?
379.5.
You agree to $379,500, Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion on BOE 248, item number 6 on the agenda to set the fair market value at $379,500.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Any others?
Then it
Okay.
should be 1, 2, 3, 4,
5,
6, okay.
6.
All right, so that,
7.
okay.
There's only 5. Was there supposed to be 6?
Should be. Well, that was only 5.
That was only 5.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. 2220.
Okay, that is item 2 on the agenda. BOE number 244, 2001, Marcella Drive, R216302220. The assessor is asking for a valuation of $502,500, and you agree to that, Mr. Hayes?
Make a motion on BOE 244, item number 2 on the agenda to set the fair market value at $502,500 by agreement of the parties.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so,
The last one is 1310.
We already did that.
Oh, we did that one already, I believe. Yeah, 247.
yeah, that was 248.
That was the first one.
248. Okay, so that brings us to item 1 on the agenda, BOE 243, which is 2317 Northwest 179th Terrace, R215 161 110. The assessor is asking for $398,000, and my paperwork shows you're asking for $345,100. Mr. Hayes, you have a different figure?
What's the last 4 of it?
1110.
Yeah, that's the one I questioned the square foot. What was the actual square foot? Because our comp, if you look at our comp, we had it showing 2982. You guys had it 2098. But I didn't know if I don't know who was on the right. I mean, maybe we were wrong. What's the verification of the square feet? Because looking on the comp, the square foot was kind of low, and then we had higher square feet, so I didn't know how to go with that.
Let me ask you, the assessor, what are you showing us the square footage of?
Our square footage is currently listed as 2,098 square feet.
2098, Mr. Hayes.
We'll check Zillow or something to see if we
Yeah.
can confirm it.
Zillow, Realtor, Redfin all say 2098.
So you you transposing the figure, Mr. Hayes?
No.
Okay.
If he can show you my information,
Yes.
I looked over it thoroughly. It shows that we showing it at 2982. So I'm like, I don't even know how to approach it.
It's got Redfin, Zillow, and what was the other one? All showed 2098.
And then go to the document links.
Okay.
We're checking one more source.
Do you have the address, Mr. Hayes? Make sure we're on the right one. Is it 2317 Northwest 179th Terrace?
Yeah, I looked it up in Zillow. I looked several of them up in Zillow. I didn't like these adjustments, even on the value for number 255K. suggested very high, so I was like, I didn't know how to deal with that one, so. We might have to further this thing down, so you can just settle that one. I didn't understand that.
Okay, we're here from the assessor.
So were you you're not requesting a different value, or are you accepting the assessor's value?
I'm not accepting the assessment back, but I just want to let that one play out, because we might have to litigate that one later.
Okay. All right, so 2317 Northwest 179th Terrace is in Oklahoma City. Your major intersection is going to be Edmond and Penn. In 2024, currently we have it valued at $398,000. In 23, it was valued at $384,000. In 22, it was valued at $329,000. In 2023, there was a non-arm's length transaction. It looks like it was a family or at least related parties sale. In 2022, we did have a qualified sale, $380,000. We have it on the record as 2,098 square feet, which gives us $189.70 per square foot. All right, go ahead and pull up. Hey, go ahead and pull up my the 4 comp report.
Okay.
So we did submit the 3 comp report as evidence. I ran one of their comps as well. Not that one. There you go. I plugged that in just because we had it. It was able to be used. And even their comp, when we plug it in, supports our value. Just it's $500 less. Our mean is $422,640. Our median is $403,000. That's all I have to say on that.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna close BOE 243 and we'll proceed to BOE 245. 2009 Dale Simmons Drive, R129, 911, 660. The assessor's asking for $346,500 and paperwork shows you want $314,900. Mr. Hayes, you have a different figure?
Hold on, what are you coming in at?
300, maybe the assessor, $346,500. This is 1660. Your paperwork says $314,900.
Hold on, let me see what I came in at. You're 346, correct?
346.5.
You only had 3 comps. I'm at 337. I used your 1 and 3.
What was your valuation?
337.
And our comp 2. You look at our comp 2, it was a good sale. 41K of adjustment. That's all kind of high for a $300,000 house. I looked at the difference in adjustment. I used your 1, your 3, and our comp 2. Our comp 2 was in line. I don't think it's unqualified. It was in line with sales a little bit lower. And the square footage was in range.
But that's the one he said was family, right?
No, that was in the previous.
Oh, no, sorry about that.
Yes.
Sorry.
And what was your issue with the assessor's comp 2? Why did you not?
41K of adjustment. That's a bit high. Look at the difference in adjustment on 1, 2, and 3. So it's the highest adjustment. 41K, that's pretty high.
Okay, we'll hear from the assessor.
Okay. 2009 Dale Simmons Drive is in Edmond. Your major intersection there is Santa Fe and Covell. And we currently have it valued at $346,500. In 23, it was $334,000. In 22, it was $315,500. In 21, it had a valid arm's length transaction for $334,000. We have it on at 2,525 square feet, which gives us a $137.23 per square foot. Pull up my comps, please. I went ahead and reran our report. I added in 3 more of the Ryan comps that they provided as evidence. Let's scroll down.
Which 3 of those can you figure
I know number 5 was the number 2 that he was referencing.
out? Okay.
But that gives us a new median of 363,000 and a new mean of 347,000. And now we can scroll up if you don't mind. So comp 5, no, back down, is their comp 2 that was being referenced. And it was a $300,000 or $300,005 sale. Time adjusted up to 305,888. And go ahead and scroll down to, and once we put in all of our adjustments, which were $59,000 of adjustments, it brings it up to $363,000, which actually falls in line very well with our values and supports our evidence. I went ahead and ran another one of theirs.
Hang on just a second. Can I just clarify? You said that comp 2, which is your comp 5,
Yes,
adjusted to
it adjusts up to 365,200.
365,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
And then
Okay, go ahead.
we also used comps. One of their other comps we put in is comp 6, which, oops, go down a little more, please. And that one, we ended up having to put on $64,000 of adjustments, which was 30%. And the reason I bring this up is because when we use their evidence, oftentimes it is 30 to 50% adjusted.
Yeah.
But they submitted it, which tells me, at least initially, Ryan LLC was okay with using comps that weren't the best, so long as they thought they supported their value. So I don't understand now why we're going to pick apart our comps, which are much closer and much better, when Ryan already made it clear that using slightly less compelling evidence was okay. On that note, though, go ahead and scroll down. In the state of being fair and equitable, comp 6 is the lowest one out of all of them when applied to our formula, but our mean and median still supports our value very well.
Okay, Mr. Hayes, you get the final word on this.
Well, when I disqualified one of their comps, I could find something that's close to use 3. That's the only one I use 3. I didn't adjust it as much as they do. I do have questions about their algorithms because I've seen a lot of stuff, especially when I was doing these labs with the adjustments, how they were adding on. It's a whole other topic. How you had extra help and it was adding on more value but it was changing the comp and making the comp higher, which would actually raise the value of my client's property, which didn't make sense to me because it's actually lower because they don't compare with you having to add on a certain amount of square feet to a property. If they don't have a they can split the percentage and make it a negative amortization, and then it adds value, which raises the adjusted value. I don't think that's something I never heard of, where you have a property that's bigger and it makes the value go up compared to actually making the adjusted go down. So all I do is look at it when I see a $41,000 adjustment. That's a little bit high. That's over 10% of the value of the house.
But did you not hear him say he used yours and the adjustments were just the same? In terms of
And that's why I think if it's because of how you use the algorithm is not always correct. When you throw an algorithm, it's going to get you a pocket. Well, if you look at it with a more, we call it a fine-tooth comb, you kind of know sometimes that algorithm is off. I notice sometimes the algorithm adjusts per year at a certain level. I'm paying attention to a 40-year-old house will adjust at 1% for every year at some point. Then you go down, it'll adjust 0.26 or 0.79. I'm like, what is that? The year is not changed. The size of the house might be a little bit different, but the year is not changed. So it's different subdivisions. The year will change depending on when it's built, but it's just in units. The algorithm is not built in units. And that's why I wish I was able to open my computer because I can show you some of that. I kind of noticed. I'm doing more of a concept of looking at how your algorithm works. So the algorithm is coming up with the number, even though they're looking at it with the naked eye also, but they're trusting the algorithm. And I have worked it in. I know the algorithm. That's why we do this, because the algorithm is not always right.
okay, let me just ask you, the sale, the last valid sale was in 21. So like 2 years ago, your client paid $334,000 for this, and you're increasing it 1% in over 2 years. And you're good with that?
How many sales do you have in the neighborhood?
No,
Would you
so,
What I
Yeah,
also noticed that some of these neighborhoods are bigger than normal, so they have several. Like one of them, all the comps, they have 6 comps, and like 4 out of the 6 comps was in different subdivisions. It's like 5 or 6 subdivisions. So how big is the neighborhood? So they're setting the neighborhood. So you're staying close to the subject property. That's the whole point. But if your neighborhood is stretching 3 miles, which you notice we have a lot of properties that's 1.7, 2 point, and it's in the neighborhood. I don't know how big you guys' neighborhoods are. I mean, I know you're not a huge city, but how big is your neighborhood? Because you're trying the whole concept of mass appraisal to stay close to the property. And yet, of course, I told you that a lot of our comps are not as close to the property as yours. So when you go into different subdivisions.
so wait, and why would that be? Why would you go that far away? Are you making the assumption there were no sales closer?
No, I mean, that's why I told you most of our information is accurate. But
Okay,
my number 2 was less than a mile away because I didn't like the adjustment that y'all number 2 had because it was 41 can adjustment. That's over 10%.
okay, let me ask, for your comps, you used 3
Yes, ma'am.
on your initial, were all 3 of them in that neighborhood?
Yes, ma'am. None of our comps, let's see, 0.26 miles away, 0.12 miles away, 0.14 miles away. I'll
Okay.
scroll up to the first 3 if you'd like. Whereas theirs were all about a third of a mile away.
27 of them were more than a half a mile away.
The ones I used, though,
Yeah,
were.
the ones that you used were the closest ones of his.
You
Okay,
can go see the numbers. You can scroll
okay,
down.
Mr. Hayes, I'm gonna close 245, and the next one is gonna be 246, 3016. I think this is Balmoral Drive, R206, 78, 1070. The assessor's asking for 719,500, and your paperwork shows 592,200. You have a higher figure, Mr. Hayes?
What is that? What is our state?
592,200.
And where we at 720?
They're at 719,500.
I'm real close. I'm at 717.5. Like I said, I did the mean of 1, 2, and 3. When you have the ACEs lower, you got to consider that concept from a mass appraisal standpoint. Like 1, 2, and 3, every number 717,500. And you have a lot of confidence in the particular property.
Okay, we'll hear from the assessor.
All right, so 3016 Balmoral Drive is in Edmond. Your major intersection there is going to be Coltrane and Cavell. We currently have it valued at $719,500. In 2023, it was $698,000. In 22, it was $597,500.
Wow.
We currently have it on at 4,011 square feet, which gives us $179.38 per square foot. Last sale of this property was in 2016, so nothing that we can use to apply to today's value. We used, in this one, we did use 2 of their comps. Our comp 2 and 3 are both provided by Ryan LLC. Unfortunately, with a 3 comp report, we've all established we can't really use the median because that's just an arbitrary middle number of one of the values of the houses. Ultimately, I'll repeat from earlier hearings, when we do a 3 comp report, we're more trying to demonstrate an allowable range of values that the comp can fall between and still be defended. Since it's sitting snugly between the middle and the maximum, that $719,500 is easily defensible. And I have no further comments.
Which of your 3 comps were the 2 taxpayer comps?
Number 2 and number 3, ma'am.
So the one that you're using for the mean
Yes, ma'am.
is one of the ones that is the taxpayer comp.
Yes, ma'am.
Final word, Mr. Hayes.
But nothing further, man.
Okay, you don't want to move. Either one of you want to move. You're just 2,000 apart. No, nobody's moving. Okay. All right, we'll close 246 and we'll open 249. 17620 Iron Lane, R12515180. The assessor is at $316,500. And your paperwork shows 199,900, Mr. Hayes. You have a different figure?
What's the last four again?
1280.
What was last year's value?
301,000.
And what was you guys' value this year?
316.5.
I'm at 308. So I looked at the comps. Number one sold 300 and adjusted 10%, which is 30K, which is very close to the seven property. The comp three is for me from a economy scale, it's close to probably 415 square feet. One thing I noticed about this particular property that should be considered panel with the value. All these properties are one story. So when you're doing a true comp, it's very hard to really justify comparing sales of 2 stories to 1 story. I don't, you try to, from an appraisal standpoint, you definitely try to stay away from that. So I kind of noticed that, if I'm not mistaken, I can't look at my computer, but I do remember the subject property is a 2-story. All the other properties are 1 story. So I asked for a slight discount with that concept. So that's how I come up with 308.
I'm
And
trying to.
notice that 2 of the properties, I think 2 of the properties sold for 300,000. I don't understand why my client's property is 316,000. It's a 2-story. The only 2 stories value less than 1 story.
Okay.
All 3 of these properties are 1 story. 1 story is definitely a value higher than 2 stories.
Even if they're in the same neighborhood, you don't use them. Let me just say this. I'm not familiar. Well, hold up. I'm not that familiar with the Edmond area, but I will tell you that I first lived in Northwest Oklahoma City. And no matter what the size of the neighborhood, there never seemed to be more than 2 or 3 2-story houses in the neighborhood. So how would you ever do comps and stay in the neighborhood if you got sales in the neighborhood if you think you can't make an adjustment of 2 stories and 1 story?
And you can make an adjustment, but that 2-story becomes exactly what it always is from a appraisal standpoint. It's called an outlier. Because it's an outlier, you have to manage it in a different way. Where no matter how it's set up, when you have those 2 or 3, those are called outliers. They don't get managed from an appraisal standpoint the same as the other properties. There's a reason why they did it, so their value is not as high because they're not the same. It's just the way it is. Outliers exist in appraisal standpoint. So you can't, it's almost like punishing a 2-story owner for a 1-story, knowing that most people prefer, some people prefer 2, some people 1, but when it comes to appraisal.
So how do you appraise a 2-story house? Go out of the neighborhood? Is that what you're saying?
You always give a reduction because it's not a true comp in the building. That's standard. Anytime you deal with anything that's an outlier, either it's a concept of either an addition or a reduction. That's why it's called an outlier.
Okay, let's hear from the.
Can I just ask real
Sure.
quick? Can you just clarify again how you came up with the 308,000?
I just gave us a small percentage off for the concept of it, that it's an outlier.
So you took the taxpayer.
I
I'm
looked at
sorry.
the other sales very close to size at 300. So the adjustment was a little high, so I asked for half of that. 308.
So you took the assessor's recommendation and took a percentage off of that because of the 2-story. Okay.
And the value of the property that sold at 300 were close to size. I asked for that be split in half. There is a concept of value when you look at an outlier. That's appraisal standard.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, we'll hear from the assessor.
Yes, ma'am. 17620 Iron Lane is on your main intersection of Edmond and Penn, kind of right between Penn and Western, actually. So it's right in the middle of that. We currently have it valued at $316,500. In 23, we had it valued at $301,000. In 22, it was valued at $257,500. We did have a valid arm's length transaction in 2021 for $270,000. This one also had a remodel in 2017, but our comps that we used, I can scroll up again, just the first three. The comps we used all have a similar effective age, so it didn't really come into play. Now, I want to address that Mr. Hayes has been speaking about how we shouldn't be using single-story comps to value a second or a two-story main. But if we scroll down, I went ahead and added 3 more of Ryan's comps. The comps that they supplied us and asked us to use are all one-story comps. So our new median, looking at, go ahead and scroll down to the map there so we have a visual aid. Our new median with the 3 Ryan comps added, as well as ours, is $321,485, and the new mean is $314,899. And again, that's come up with 3 additional comps that help support our value provided by Ryan LLC.
Okay, so Mr. Hayes, so you guys, wait a minute, you guys used one-story comps and you just told us that was a no-no. So you tossed out your own guy's deal and just dealt with a diminution in value of the assessor's ask.
Well, the whole concept, like I said, the property is an outlier, so it's hard to find comp. In a standard meeting, I'm gonna be honest with you, I wouldn't use none of the comps.
Okay.
Because I'm a real true comparator. I was doing a hearing somewhere else. First thing I said, I need to come. I want last year's value plus small increase.
Okay.
You guys don't operate like that. But most places, that's what I would say. Because of one story, my concept, when you build a neighborhood, a one story is compared to a one story, two story. When you change that, you have to subtract the percentage. Because we do know that it costs more to make a one story than a two story because of the layout. We're talking about the cost, the effective concept of the cost.
Can I just clarify on the assessor's comps? If you'll just scroll back up, I saw where you do identify that it's a 2-story versus a 1-story, but I don't see any adjustments, correct, for that. But you do make adjustments on square footage.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
But and I'm glad you said that. There's always an adjustment when you compare a 2-story to a 1-story because of the cost. Everyone knows that most people love a 1-story because you don't have it there. So that has to be reflected in the adjustment. That's the only point I'm trying to make.
Well, did you wait a minute? Did you do that in the comps that your client put forward? Did they make that adjustment?
I don't use our comp. I wouldn't
Okay,
use
that's
one-story
good.
comp in a 2-story. That's what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha. Okay, I got it. Okay, I'm gonna close the hearing on BOE 249 and open up the hearing on BOE 251, 5312. Is this Creekwood Terrace? R 113-271-550. What is the assessor requesting on this one?
112,000, ma'am.
And what are you requesting, Mr. Hayes? They're asking 112,000.
I'm at 110. One thing I noticed about this, if you look on it, I wrote it down, the conversion, the added this, and that's what I was saying, I didn't understand it. That the added living area made the value of the property go up in comparison when it comes to adjustment. I didn't agree with that. That actually should make the value go down when it comes to comparison because you are adding on value to the house. So how do you add on value and make the adjustment go up instead of down? Because in order to match them up, the adjustment should go down. Am I right or am I wrong?
Are you saying an added living area on the subject property or on one of the comps?
The added living area on comp 2.
On comp 2.
If you see that, you say conversion 1090, add living area. Okay, that's interesting. So basically, unless I'm wrong, shouldn't that bring the value of that property? That's why it's sold a little higher, right? Some of these people are converting they're converting their garage or they're converting their rooms. Sometimes they don't show the conversion because they leave the garage and they just shut it down. I've seen that before in a appraisal. So I was kind of lost, so I didn't understand that.
Okay,
I think I saw that 2 or 3 times. Well, you could, the conversion and the value with up, but the adjustments didn't go down, they went up.
Okay, we'll hear from the assessor.
Absolutely. As we've established earlier, when you make a comp better, in order to bring it back down to the same value, make it look more like the subject, you have to make a reduction to the value. So in this case, we're subtracting out how much the converted garages add to the value of those properties. But you'll notice we do add value because since it's a converted garage, go ahead and go back up there just because I really want to be able to. By removing the garage, we have to then add 4.4% because those houses no longer have a garage. We then subtract the value because the converted garage is a superior.
So you kind of got to net those two out. Is
Yes,
what you're
ma'am.
saying.
Because yes, now it no longer has a garage, it has converted living space. And as the converted living space is slightly more valuable, which is why the adjustment is bigger downwards than upwards. So that being said, we'll go back to the physical characteristics of the property. Start from the top here. 5312 Creekwood Terrace is on Bryant and 59. We currently have it valued at $112,000. In 2023, it was $95,500. In 2022, it was $82,000. Our last deeded sale that we have is from 2012. It is a 937 square feet. We have it on for $119.53 per square foot.
Was that 2012 sale a valid sale? Because they showed it was only $30,000.
I don't believe it was. Go ahead and go to the transfers tab. But it's I think it's just the last deed that we had.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Yeah, it exceeded the reasonable market parameters.
It's not cost.
So it was 2005 was the last one.
Yeah, I saw that.
Transferred hands a lot. So at a certain point, I said, this isn't going to have any relevance on today's hearing, so I stopped looking. But I believe that's everything I need to say on this one. Our median is at 115,000. The mean for the neighborhood's at 120,000. He's beneath both of those with 112,000. And that's it. Like I said, all I have to say on that one.
Final word, Mr. Hayes.
So when you close the garage, okay, I'm kind of baffled with some of these things because when you create a more living space that's called GLA, gross living area, right? You add that to the new value. So if you add too much GLA, it automatically changes that property from being a comp. If you're adding 400 and 500 square feet, which most garages are similar to that, guess what? You now make that property, even though it's in the same neighborhood, because you have GLA, the heated and cooled, it's no longer a comp. Because you changed everything. And
Wait, why are you saying comp? Mr. Hayes, this is the subject property, correct?
No, it's the comp 2 and 3.
No, it's to the comp. That's my point.
Oh.
That's what I'm baffled by. I'm like, I know I'm not crazy because I've done this long enough to know this. Once you convert something, and guess what? You got to throw that one out because it's not the same. We're comparing even though they're in the same neighborhood, we're comparing like-minded properties. When you add and subtract things, they change their concept of comp.
Well, Mr. Hayes, you guys are 2,000 apart, so whatever it is they did wasn't that far out that it got their value stretched out there. Anybody want to move off this one? Yay, nay?
I do not. Even
Okay.
our comp 1 supports.
Okay, we're going to close the hearing on 251 and open the hearing on BOE 252, 3017 Southeast 54th, R 115 26 1210. The assessor's asking for $116,500, and your paperwork shows $64,050, Mr. Hayes. You have a different figure than $64,050?
What's the last four?
1210.
Oh, okay. So this one I had 110 also. I used 1 and 3. There's number 2 I didn't. Number I didn't write down why. I looked at our comps, but this one, we had 4 comps under a mile. So if you look at the values of 2 and 4, I didn't use them because, like I said, I don't know how they adjust it. Always, I try not to use them unless I have nothing. So I used 1 and 3, and I got the 110. If you look at our comps, like I said, we were more in line, but of course the adjustment probably been different. But I just still think you guys' comp, I elevated number 2. Sorry, I can write down why, but I came up with 110 on that.
Actually, on your comps, you had 6 comps. I showed 4 of them were more than a half a mile away, and one of them was a 2024 comp. So there would have been only
Well, I know we
one,
had 4 comps under a mile, and I looked at this number 2 and 4.
perhaps under a mile, but could be. Yes.
Okay, we'll hear from the assessor.
3017 Southeast 54th Street is in the intersection of Bryant and 59th. In 2024, currently we have it valued at $116,500. In 23, it was $99,500. In 22, it was $86,000. It was acquired in 2018 as a multi-parcel sale. In 2010, there was an invalid deed transfer, a non-qualified deed transfer. Looks like the last valid arm's length transaction we had was in 2005, so again, not relevant. It is 996 square feet. We have it on for $116.97 per square foot. We had 14 2023 comps, and Ms. Sellers mentioned there weren't really any good Ryan comps. Specifically because the comps we had were closer, better in the neighborhood. I'd like to address that Mr. Hayes mentioned he threw out comp 2. I don't understand why. It's the closest one we have. There's the second to smallest square foot adjustment made on it. It only has $4,600 of adjustments made, whereas the other two have $8,000 of adjustments made. It's the closest comp out of all 3 of them to the subject property. That gives us a mean of $118,947. The median's not going to play too much in a 3-comp report. But between the maximum and minimum value and sale price, we're easily sitting in a supportable range of value.
Okay, final word, Mr. Hayes.
I do apologize. I probably saw it and didn't write it down, but that was the reason why I didn't like number 2. I normally be able to justify. We may not always agree, but I normally justify, so I do apologize for that.
Okay, we're going to close the hearing on BOE 252 and open 253, 4913 Cinderella Drive, R 149342260. I see 76.9 for you, Mr. Hayes, and the assessor is at 111,500. You have a different figure?
I'm at 9. What was that value?
111,500.
I was a lot more than that. And I'm gonna tell you why. This is the one where it had 5 and 6 had conversion, so I threw them out. I just didn't understand the adjustment. You know, those adjustments are very high. I think I'm not even looking at it, but I remember one was in the 120, the 130, and one was in the 150, if I'm not mistaken. And I was like, whoa, those are not comparisons because of the conversion when they sold. So I used number 3, 4, and 1 pay at the least adjustment, and to me that made sense, and I came up with 93K. This is the ones that
92 or 93? Whoa. What did you come up with?
93. I actually looked them up on Zillow, and I was like, okay, these are not common. I actually took time to look these properties up to compare them, looking at the DDU and all that. Like, properties been upgraded and everything. So all the time that you guys say, I looked at these properties. I looked at the subject time, but I looked at the comp. The subject time was bad. It had regular. The comp had been upgraded, had new floors. And it was much nicer. The only thing that was pretty much the same was the kitchen appliance. They didn't have any special kitchen appliance. The refrigerator was regular boxes.
So what was your reason for not using comps 1 and 2?
You did use
I used 1, 3, and 4.
Well, you used 1, 3, and 4. Okay, so comp, you're saying comp 2 had the same issues as 5 and 6, it had a conversion or a remodel?
No, I don't, I'm trying to think why I know. Why I didn't. No, I was 10 with 6, I always used 3. I didn't use 5 and 6 because they had conversion. 1 was 10.16, 1 was 7.80, and number 6 didn't have a garage.
Right, but did you use comp 2?
No.
No, I didn't.
And why did you not use comp 2?
Because I only just used 3. Because it was 6 provided. I normally try to use 3. I don't really go.
But comp 2 was a December of 2023 sale.
And what was the square footage on it?
1,077, it's pretty close. For the subject property, I have 1,083.
I didn't write that down. Well, I know the 3 that I used had some adjustments.
Sure.
Okay, let's hear from the
And they
assessor.
were all in line. It's a low 90, so it kind of makes sense. I didn't have to, neither one of them, if I'm not mistaken, was higher than what we were close to what the southern part was. The southern part was over 100,000 in the market. I thought it made sense. All 3 was in line. I think 91, 92, and 94, something like that. They were all close.
Okay, we're gonna hear from the assessor.
Excellent. 4913 Cinderella Drive is on 44th and Eastern,
South?
southeastern.
Okay.
We currently have it valued at $111,500. In 23, it was $95,500. In 22, it was $85,000. It's It was acquired in a multi-parcel sale in 2018. Looks like the last qualified deed transaction was in 1999. It is 1,083 square feet, which gives them a price per foot of $102.95. When I plug these ones in, it looked like we had 16 2023 comp sales, but there have been a lot of remodels in the area. Mr. Hayes is correct on that. Our comp 1 is his comp 1. The comp 2, specifically Ryan, right, were the comp 2 that Ryan, I'm just saying why we didn't use the other qualified sale, is it was 30% adjusted. Ours are much closer than that, and the rest of them are very far away. If you look at go ahead and go to the total adjustments, the net adjusted, if you will. These ones are actually very close. All of the adjustments are within $3,000 except for 1 and 2. The 4 through 6, there's only $2,500 of adjustments made to that sale price to get to basically make it a comp. Whereas, go ahead and scroll up. Comp 1 and 2, again, 1 was provided by Ryan LLC, $11,000. Comp 2, $13,500. Comp 3 is almost exactly the same. It's only $239 of adjustments. That gives us a median.
Can you scroll up to the sale price on comp 5 and 6, please? Okay.
Good. Yes, ma'am. That gives us a median of 114,316. Gives us a mean of 119,023. I have no further comments to add unless there are any questions.
Final word, Mr. Hayes.
Nothing further, man.
Okay, closing 253 and opening BOE 254, which is item 12 on the agenda, 18821 Havenbrook Road, R212261200. What is the assessor asking on this one?
Currently, we have it on as $407,500.
What are you asking, Mr. Hayes?
It was 407, I thought it was 427. Sorry, I agree with that, man. I was at 4. Sorry. Wrong.
I'll make a motion
Right, good.
on BOE 254 to set the fair market value at $407,500 by agreement of the parties.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that brings us to the last item, which is item 13 on the agenda. BOE number 255, 18720 Rush Springs Lane, R 212, 261, 740. The assessor's asking $421,500, and Mr. Hayes, your figure shows $363,583. You have a different figure for us?
Using constant value, 1, 2, and 3, pretty simple, 396.
Okay.
396 using the assessor's comps,
Yes, ma'am.
but not the sales adjusted value.
That is the sales adjusted value, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
I would have.
I ran that number, I'll let the assessor speak to it, but that's not what his comps came out to.
That's interesting. That's what I wrote down. Check that one.
Let's hear from the assessor, he'll tell us.
Okay, so just with those first three comps, go back down, please. The mean adjusted value comes out to $420,452. Would you like me to do my whole
That's what I
presentation?
showed as well,
Okay.
right?
Perfect. So 18720 Rush Springs Lane is on Western and Danforth. And we currently have it valued at $421,500. In 23, it was $409,500. In 22, it was $357,000. It was acquired in 2019 as part of a multi-parcel sale. 2016, we had a arm's length transaction for $300,000. 2016 is not really relevant. It is 2,397 square feet, $175.84 per foot. I went ahead and reran our comp report using 3 of Ryan's comps. Go ahead and pull that one up now. And let's just scroll down to the very bottom there. And that gives us a new median of $423,287 and a new mean of $424,047.
Which 3?
Let's see, we used 1004 Northwest 186th Street, 908 Northwest 185th Street, 19720 Meadow Bend Avenue.
So when you reran it, you ran it with 6 comps straight ahead.
Yes.
So you're 3.
And if you guys would like any of these 6 comps that I reran with theirs, I can make copies and get them to you. But
Well, he's not basing his reevaluation off of the comps, he's basing it off of your initial 3 comps, but some sort of a calculation, so.
Yeah, I the net adjusted comps, 369, 375, 405, 825, 412.
Net
When you
adjust
scroll up to your 3 comps,
That comes to 395.
1, 2, 3.
Rounded up to 396.
scroll up a little bit higher. So you said you're using 396, was that one of the numbers you said you used?
No, 369, 405, 412. The mean of that is rounded to 3.
Okay, I don't see any of the assessor's comps that had a value of 369,000.
Are we on 212, 261200?
No, we're on 21226 1740.
Hold on, I thought we just. Wow.
We finished that one. You agreed to that one. 1200. You agreed to 407,500. We're on number.
No, man. I thought we just did